Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we discuss the 5 best mid-range fountain pens in the $100 to $300 price range. These fountain pens are for people who want to graduate from a Pilot Metropolitan or Lamy Safari level to something a little more sophisticated and elegant. If you haven't already done so, we have other fountain pen videos such as the budget fountain pen guide, as well as fountain pen mistakes and whether a Montblanc Meisterstück is worth it or not. If you're new to fountain pens, you'll notice that there is its own terminology and you can learn more about it in this video here. Now without further ado, let's talk about the fountain pens. The first one is the Pilot CAPLESS, also known as Pilot Vanishing Point. Usually priced around $120 to $150, it is an affordable pen with a design that is very unique, and it came out in 1964, so it has somewhat of a mid-century modern touch to it. It almost looks like a ballpoint pen because it has a retractable nib, and so it's very handy for people who have to take notes quickly and don't have the time to remove or untwist a cap. Overall, the mechanics of the pen feel like quality, the design is well thought through, and the cap prevents the nib from drying out, so you can just start writing once you hit that tip. For this video, we purchased a Pilot Decimo, which is a slightly narrower and lighter weight model that comes in different colors. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the lightweight. However, for people who have to write a lot and don't want something heavy in their pocket, I think it's an ideal companion. The pen can take cartridges or a converter. It comes with a converter that has 3 little metal balls inside, and they're supposed to help break the surface tension of the ink so you actually can write with a full tank of ink and you don't waste anything that's stuck at a point where it can't get to the nib. The rather small 18-karat gold nib comes in fine, broad, and medium widths. You can see there's some line vibration due to the fact that it's a very slim nib, but overall it's okay and it does a job. To be honest, when I look at this Pilot pen, it feels a little cheap because it has this lacquered finish that almost looks like a bit of a metallic paint, which is typically something I expect from a $5 pen, not from a $120 writing piece. Unlike with a ballpoint pen, the clip actually has to be on the side of the nib because you want to store it upwards, otherwise you may leak ink onto your shirt or your jacket when you move quickly. Because of that, the clip is in the way when you write, and you can always feel it, and it's not something I particularly enjoy. Overall, the Pilot CAPLESS is a smooth writer with a steady ink flow. It's neither too wet nor too dry, and it's perfect to take a lot of quick notes. You probably won't want to write a long letter with it. It is made in Japan and 3 years guaranteed against mechanical failures. So, who is this fountain pen for? I think it's a perfect thing for people who just want to upgrade from a ballpoint pen, who are used to the convenience but want a slightly more unique look to the way they write, but not sacrifice any of the practical aspects of a ballpoint pen. It's also fantastic for people who are nonconformists and want a fountain pen that doesn't look like anything else out there. I think it's perfect for doctors or other people who have to take lots of notes quickly and have to move on, and they don't have the time to remove the cap or keep it, and so that will come in very handy with the Pilot CAPLESS. Next up is the Waterman CARENE fountain pen, which retails anywhere from $120 to $300 for the more all-metal versions. Waterman as a brand was very popular in the 1900s, and vintage pens are very sought after. Edson Waterman invented the capillary feed fountain pen, which is what most pens use today. Now generally, while modern Waterman fountain pens are not necessarily a great collector's item, this one is usually quite popular. First of all, it comes in a wide variety of designs in different colors and options. It features a pop-top cap and a hinged clip, which both work quite well. I also really like to post the cap on the back of the fountain pen. It creates a nice balance and a solid weight. Compared to the Pilot CAPLESS, it's noticeably heavier. It takes standard cartridges or a converter and has an 18-karat gold nib that is part of the streamlined design that is very unique to this fountain pen. It has a good ink flow, though it runs a bit drier than other pens, and the lines are quite smooth and simple. Sometimes it may take a few strokes to warm up. I like the lacquered brass body, which is not as cheap looking as the Pilot CAPLESS, and overall it's quite a bit heavier. To me, it feels more like a quality pen, And here we got a two-tone version with black, silver, and gold. The cap is silver-plated brass and has a line guilloche, which is quite elegant and something you may be familiar with from, let's say, a Meisterstück 146. Despite those minor similarities, the Waterman is distinctly different because the back piece of the fountain pen as well as the front nib look very unique. Made in France, the Waterman Calvin comes with a 3-year warranty that can be extended to 5 years if you register the fountain pen. So who's the Waterman Calvin for? I think it's a good choice for people who want a unique, streamlined design and appreciate a slightly heavier pen. I think it's great for modern-day businessmen who prefer slim-fit suits and want something that is not as old and classic as the Montblanc Meisterstück, for example, but something that's a little more unique that also doesn't break the bank. Next up is the Lamy 2000 fountain pen, which usually retails anywhere between $140 and $170. To me, it looks like a durable, understated mix between a Bauhaus and mid-century modern design. It doesn't come as a surprise that it originally came out in 1966 and back then was celebrated as a simplistic piece of art. The construction is made out of stainless steel and polycarbonate, which is the same material you probably know from your lightweight suitcases. However, unlike the suitcases or fountain pens, this one has a matte texture, which gives you a better grip, and it also makes it less shiny, and because it's not metal or lacquer, it feels warmer when you write with it. That being said, the tip is stainless steel, and it's noticeably cooler. It has a nice pop-top cap that posts well on the back of the pen and stays on while you write. The fountain pen is comfortable to hold, it has a moderate weight and is rather well balanced. The semi-hooded or hidden nib is made of 14-karat gold. To get the silver look, it's platinum plated. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this kind of nib design, but it was very popular in the 60s. While there are several nib widths and styles available, the look of it is rather limited. You can get it in a darker version, in a lighter version, and sometimes they have limited editions like champagne-colored ones. The Lamy 2000 writes smoothly, maybe it's a bit on the wet side. It can take a little while to find the sweet spot because if the nib is rotated slightly, it doesn't write. Unlike the other two pens, the Lamy 2000 comes with a large piston filling mechanism, which I prefer to the other mechanisms because I don't have to untwist anything, it's all contained within the pen. It also has a nice ink window, so you can always see if you're running out shortly. It also comes with a nice spring-loaded pivoting clip, which makes it very easy to clip onto your pocket or anything else for that matter. The tapered front section of the pen makes it comfortable to write no matter if you have smaller, medium or larger hands. Overall, the Lamy 2000 provides a very comfortable writing experience paired with an iconic design. It's made in Germany by Lamy and comes with a 2-year warranty. So who's the Lamy 2000 for? I think it works well for people who like simplistic things such as a Nomos Tangente watch, for example. It's also great if you prefer medium to lightweight pens and not something that's super heavy, paired with a slightly grippier shaft. Personally, I don't like the look and the design of the Lamy 2000, but I'm neither a big fan of the CAPLESS or the Waterman CARENE. That being said, all of those 3 pens are great writing instruments if you just look at the writing aspect. The next pen is a Sailor 1911, which looks very classic compared to the previous 3. It comes in 2 different sizes, and the large one, which we have here, is usually anywhere from $200 to $280. At first glance, it might look very timeless, classic, and understated to you. However, in the fountain pen world, it looks really like a knockoff Montblanc Meisterstück. The screw-on cap is tight and it posts well on the back of the pen. The engraving in the pen cap says Sailor Japan founded 1911, which is the reason the pen got its name. Even though we got the large version, it's considerably smaller than the Montblanc Meisterstück 149 and about the size of a Montblanc 146. You can get it in various resin colors and gold as well as the rhodium-plated metal parts. It also comes in many nib sizes, including the rather unusual zoom nib, and you can learn more about it in this video here. While the standard size just has a 14-karat nib, the large one has a 21-karat nib, which is rather unusual, but the higher the gold content, usually the softer and smoother the nib. The writing experience is very comfortable, smooth, and the nib provides a little bit of bounce. Even though the back tip indicates this is a piston filler, it only works with cartridges or cartridge converters. It's comfortable to use either posted or unposted, and overall it's a very pleasant writing experience. I think the sailors have relatively fine nibs across all the sizes, so if you want something finer, that's great. If you like something broader, maybe you want to size up. It's made in Japan, comes with a 1-year warranty. So who's it for? It's ideal for people who want a classic understated cigar design in a nice size with a high quality nib made out of 21 karat gold. Last but not least, there's the Pilot Custom Heritage 823, which is unusual in a few ways. First, it retails at about $270 to $290, comes in a big box, often with an inkwell. It also has a classic cigar-inspired style, but it's in general a little slimmer. Also, the body is made out of a semi-transparent resin, which means you can actually see the mechanics on the inside. This one comes in a smoky acrylic tone. In Japan or at specialty retailers, you can also find different colors. Unlike all the other 4 contenders, this one has a vacuum filling mechanism, which personally I'm not a big fan of, but if you want to see how to fill it, I suggest to watch this video here. By the way, you can find all the videos I'm mentioning here linked below the video. The 14 karat gold nib is large, smooth, and juicy. Possibly it's one of the smoothest writers out there, and personally I think the #1 reason why you should buy this pen is the smooth nib and writing experience. While many pens in this price range offer more of an oversized grip, this one is more standard sized and better suited to small to medium hands. Of course, it's also made in Japan by Pilot, and I think it's perfect for people who want a different design and a smooth writing experience. You really don't have to mind the kind of demonstrator design that is semi-transparent, and you also have to be okay with the vacuum filling mechanism, which personally I'm not a big fan of. So in conclusion, if you're ready to take the plunge and take your fountain pen game to the next level, all of these 5 contenders will be a noticeable step up from a Lamy Safari or a Pilot Metropolitan. So which of these 5 pens should you choose? Frankly, if you like the more mid-century modern design, I think the Lamy 2000 is nice. If you are a doctor and you take quick notes, the CAPLESS is best. If you want something business appropriate but unique, the Waterman Calvin is hard to beat. For the best experience in terms of writing, I think the Pilot Custom A23 is great. And if you want something that looks more like a Mont Blanc Meisterstück, you can go with a Sailor 1911. Personally, which fountain pen would I choose? Honestly, I wouldn't choose any of them because I already have others in my collection. I probably like the Sailor 1911 design the most. However, it almost looks like a copycat of the Meisterstück, and I'm not a big fan of copycats. So what would I do? I would probably save up a little more money to get a pen from the next $300 to $600 price range, or I would buy something vintage in the $100 to $300 price range because you get an even better value for your money. That being said, if it was about the writing experience alone, I'd probably pick the Sailor 1911 or the Pilot Custom A23. I simply am not in love with any of the designs, and that's why I would mainly save up. In today's video, I'm wearing a houndstooth flannel suit paired with a red striped shirt with French cuffs for cufflinks. I'm wearing the silver platinum plated monkey fist cufflinks from Fort Belvedere. My tie is a buff color tie with a large paisley pattern in red, white, and black. It is also from Fort Belvedere, and you can find it in our shop here. Instead of a matching vest with a suit or a stronger contrasting one, I went for a fine knit vest in a mid-round tone, which softens the entire outfit and tones down the striped, houndstooth, and paisley patterns I'm wearing otherwise. I'm wearing wingtip monk strap shoes in a reddish brown that comes with silver buckles so they match my cufflinks, as well as my pinky ring, which is white gold with a star sapphire. The pocket square is made out of linen with red and white threads of handcrafted linen. It is hand rolled in Italy with unusual X stitches which require particular attention to detail and skill. It picks up the red and white tones of the shirt as well as the tie, and you can find it in our shop here. For my socks, I chose a pair of solid gray socks with clocks in red and white, because that picks up the color of the suit as well as the shirt and the tie, thus tying it all together without being overly loud, because with a houndstooth suit, a paisley tie and a striped shirt, there are already enough accents in this outfit.